Hey everyone, and welcome. So, you've got access to these incredibly powerful large language models, but let's be real. How do you make them smart about your stuff? Today, we're diving deep into the developer's guide for customizing LLMs, breaking down the two main ways you can turn a generic AI into a specialist for your project. This is the million-dollar question for every developer in the space, right? An out-of-the-box model like GPT-4 knows a ton about world history, but it has zero clue about your company's internal wiki, your private API docs, or the specs for that new product you're about to launch. So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the core problem itself. Then we'll explore two totally different solutions: RAG, which I like to call the open book approach, and fine-tuning, the domain expert. After we put them head-to-head, we'll give you a solid framework for making a choice. And stick around, because at the end, we'll look at a future where you might not have to choose at all. Okay, so let's get right to the heart of it. Foundation models are trained on the public internet. It's a massive, incredible data set, but it's also a snapshot in time. It's static. So while they're amazing generalists, that general knowledge just doesn't cut it for specialized private business needs. What you're really after is a custom LLM. You want to go from a model that knows things up to, say, last year, to one that's fluent in your private real-time data, using your specific terminology. And the two main paths to get there are Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG, and fine-tuning. Let's kick things off with our first method, Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG. The easiest way to think about this is like giving your LLM an open book test. It doesn't have to have everything memorized, it just needs to know where to find the answers fast. So what is RAG, really? It's a system that you wrap around a standard LLM. It connects the model to your knowledge base. Think internal docs, databases, you name it, at the exact moment a query comes in. And here's the crucial part. You're not changing the model's brain at all. You're just giving it the right cheat sheet at the right time. This workflow breaks it down perfectly. A user asks a question. The RAG system instantly goes, "Hold on, I've got notes on this." It zips through your private data, usually in a super fast vector database, and pulls out the most relevant snippets. Then, it bundles that context up with the original question and hands the whole package to the LLM. The result? You get an answer that's grounded in your facts, and it can even tell you where it got the info. I love this analogy because it just clicks. RAG is all about that efficient, on-demand data access. The goal isn't to cram more knowledge into the model itself, but to make it an expert at fetching exactly the right information right when it's needed. All right, let's switch gears completely. Now we're talking about fine-tuning. And this approach is totally different. If RAG is an open book test, then fine-tuning is like sending your model to a PhD program to become a world-class specialist. With fine-tuning, you are fundamentally changing the model. You take a pre-trained model and you keep on training it, but this time you use your own curated dataset. This process actually tweaks the model's internal parameters, its weights, which is like rewiring its brain to embed new expertise directly into its core. And yeah, this process is definitely more of a heavy lift. It's a lot more like traditional machine learning. It all starts with the hardest part, collecting thousands of high-quality, labeled examples. Then you have the compute-intensive retraining process. Only after all that can you test and finally deploy your new specialized model. This analogy is just perfect. A fine-tuned model becomes a true domain expert. You ask it a question about its specialty, and it won't just spit out facts. It will respond with the right jargon, the right tone, the right format, because that behavior is now baked into its very DNA. All right, so we've met the open book student and the domain expert. Now it's time for the main event. Let's put RAG and fine-tuning head-to-head and see how they stack up on the things that really matter to developers. This table lays it all out beautifully. You can see the clear trade-off. RAG is your champion for factual accuracy, data freshness, and being able to trace back to a source. Fine-tuning, on the other hand, is all about mastering behavior, style, and tone. Simply put, RAG is about what the model knows, fine-tuning is about how the model acts. And hey, this isn't just theory. Check this out. In a real-world agriculture case study, a fine-tuned model hit 81% accuracy on its own. Pretty good. But when they added a RAG layer on top to give it real-time data, accuracy jumped to 86%. This proves these methods can be an incredible team. And of course, we gotta talk about the cost. For any developer or PM, this is a make or break factor. Looking at a typical business app, RAG is significantly cheaper in year one. And the biggest reason why? You completely avoid those expensive, time-sucking retraining cycles every single time your knowledge base gets an update. Okay, we've covered the theory, we've looked at the data. Now for the most practical part. Let's walk through a super simple decision framework to help you pick the right tool for your job. First question you have to ask is about data volatility. How often does your source of truth change? If your product docs or internal policies are updated weekly or even daily, RAG is a no-brainer. Updating a RAG system is as simple as swapping out a document. Updating a fine-tuned model means another full training run. Second question gets to the heart of your goal. Do you need verifiable, fact-based answers that are grounded in a source of truth? That screams RAG. Or do you need the model to adopt a very specific persona, follow complex instructions, or speak the nuanced language of your field? Well, that's a job for fine-tuning. And here you go, a quick reference guide that brings it all together. This is your cheat sheet. Seriously, this is the slide to screenshot and bring to your next planning meeting. It lays out the key decision factors for both paths nice and clear. For those of you leaning towards RAG, here's a high-level roadmap to get you going. Some of the key steps are things like chunking your documents into smaller, digestible pieces, and then creating embeddings, which are just numerical fingerprints of that text, so you can search for them incredibly fast in a vector database. So far, we've kind of framed this as a big showdown, RAG versus fine-tuning. But the most powerful solutions are often a bit more nuanced. So what if you don't actually have to choose? Let's talk about the hybrid approach. And this right here is the key takeaway. RAG and fine-tuning aren't mutually exclusive. They're actually complementary. You can fine-tune a model to become an expert in the style and reasoning of a domain, like legal analysis, and then use a RAG system to feed it the very latest case law. You get the best of both worlds, a specialized expert that's also completely up to date. And that's the final thought I want to leave you with. The future of building amazing custom AI isn't about picking just one path. It's about being a smart architect and thoughtfully designing a system that balances specialized skill with dynamic, real-time knowledge. The choice of how you combine these powerful tools is now yours.